Cody, you mentioned something, man. You said, you had a target and you hit it. And then the next year you kind of slowed down a little bit after you hit that target. But I want to go before that next year. A lot of people cannot hit a target. They've got these dreams, they've got these visions, but they lack the ability to get focused in and to just actually nail that target head on.
Yep.
What are some success principles? I know you've done it not only in insurance, but you've done it in all of your other companies. How does somebody hit the target if they're just religiously have been missing for most of their life?
Yeah, I think I could speak for like 14 hours on this. So I'll try to keep it brief. This is such a good question, by the way, though, because it's happening, right? Like some of you, like by show of hands, who had a goal for 2021, and it's okay to admit, but you didn't hit it, right? You're like, dude, I think I missed it. And it's okay to admit, like we're all family here, right? It's okay, right? That's going to happen. People are going to set targets and fail and miss them. I actually believe that typically you didn't hit the target because it was too small. Number one. And like Kenny and some of the others, the faces I just got, you can be like, dude, what are you talking about? We didn't hit it. How can it be too small? That doesn't make any common sense. Well, I believe it wasn't big enough and you didn't hit it because it didn't get your attention. If it's big enough, it will keep you focused long enough. Also, if you hit 94,000 your second year in the business after making 34,000, your goal's 100, did you really fail? Some people would say yes. I would say no. Like you still made $90-something thousand. Like that's awesome, right? So if the targets, and I ask you, why 100,000? Most people just say 100,000 because it's like the natural. I want to make 6 figures. That's like the natural number. Like if I were to ask, like 1,000 brand new agents, what kind of money do you want to make in the insurance business? Literally 900 of them would say 100 grand. It's not even their number. They're just saying it because it sounds cool, right? They're just saying it because it sounds good. And yeah, it was my number too, so I get it. However, I believe in figuring out what number you actually want and truly, like you actually want it. Why do you want that number? And then do the math of what that number is. If some of you, like throw something in chat right now. Like if you're like, okay, here's what I want to do in 2022. If you had to share that in chat really quick, of like what kind of goal you want to hit, and then I'll talk through it for a second. But I'm curious, okay, if Kenny or anybody else will help me out that hasn't yet with what you're thinking for a goal for 2022, okay, outside of Joe Camper, my buddy, anybody else, okay, Rebecca,
Joe,
150K, Allison, 200, yeah, what's up, Joe? Let's see, okay, okay, good. So Rebecca said first, all right, 150,000. So if we take 150,000. Divided by 50 weeks, you take 2 weeks of vacation. That's $3,000 per week, right? That's pretty easy math. Okay, so then I would ask Rebecca, right, at $3,000 a week. Most of you have done this math, you've figured it out, whatever, but some of you maybe haven't. Let's back into that, okay? So if it's $3,000 a week, what do you make on average per sell? Commission advance. What do you typically make per sell? Well, you could say, well, Cody, like for example, Ryan, what's the average final expense case y'all sell, like the average premium?
I'd say like $65 a month.
Okay, 65 times 9. We'll just use $585. That's the actual 9-month premium, right? So if you take $3,000 divided by $585, you're at 5.12 sales a week. Okay, so how would Rebecca do 5 sales a week? Well, for me, and I think you would need to raise it a little bit now, but my goal was always my first year to set 15, sit with 10, sell 5. Pretty standard, everybody's heard that. Well, if you're like, well, my closing rate's not 50%. Okay, so if it's 40, well, you would take 5 and you would divide it by 0.4. That would get you the bigger number, which is 12.5, right? So then you would need to sit with 12.5 people a week. Well, I don't know. Maybe you don't sit with all of them. Ryan, I'm guessing we don't. What percentage actually show up?
50%.
Okay, so 50%. Okay, so that means that you need to set 25 appointments a week. If I ask everyone to be honest, how many people are actually setting 25 appointments a week? Very few. Okay, let's keep it real, right? We're family once again, right? Like I'm being added to the family. Ryan's adopting me tonight. Okay, I'm joining. Okay, 25 appointments a week. You say, well, Cody, I didn't make $150,000. Yeah, but you didn't book 25 appointments a week. So why do you expect to make $150,000? Like everybody wants to tie it to the number, the income, the revenue. We should be tying it to the activity. So then I'll take it a step further and say, okay, you need to set 25 points a week. Ryan, what type of, how many leads would they need to do that, do you think?
50.
Okay, at least, right?
Yeah, at least.
Who's buying 50 leads a week? I guarantee you not very many, okay? Everybody's going to hate me at the end of this, but that's okay. We're going to take it a step further. I love you guys either way, okay? We're going to take it a step further. Okay. When you're calling the leads, are you taking the 50 leads and breaking it up into blocks of like 15 to 20 and then calling that block of 15, triple dialing it and calling through the whole thing, and then triple dialing it and calling through the whole thing again, and then triple dialing and calling through the whole thing again, and then hitting 9 dials before you even go to the next batch? So you're taking the 50 and you're splitting it up into 3 different groups. Because you think about it, like you can call all 50 and triple dial them, and you call them 3 times over, let's just call it an hour, let's just call it 2 hours of calling leads. Or you can call someone 9 times in like 30 minutes, 45 minutes. Most of us, the goal when we buy leads is to get sales. Some of you, it's to set appointments. Mine is just to make contact. It's a contact sport. I don't know what the freak's gonna happen. I just need to get them on the phone, right? So I'm triple dialing, calling all the way through once, triple dialing again, calling all the way through twice, triple dialing every single lead again, and calling all the way 3 times. Now, by the end, the stack has gotten smaller, right? Because some of them already answered and said no. Some of them already booked an appointment. Maybe the stack of 20 turned into 12 by the 3rd time through. But I wonder which way you would set more appointments. Well, you say, well, Cody, I don't. How can I do that? Aren't people going to be upset at me when I call 9 times in 45 minutes? That's insane. Yeah, but you made contact, and surprisingly, most people don't even mention that you called them 9 times. They don't. And imagine how many have already answered along the way before you get to the very end anyway, if it's a decent lead, right? Okay, well, let's take it a step further. You're like, okay, Cody, I'm calling this much. I'm doing this much activity. I'm telling you, most people are not. 80% of leads are followed up with 0, 1, or 2 times. Not 9, right? But 80% of sales are made between the 5th and 12th contact. We're treating our leads like somebody else bought them, right? And apparently they were free too, right? Like you're treating it like I was door knocks, 1 time and then I'm gone. Never see you again, right? Well, that's not the way to treat leads. So if you think about it, like, okay. I'm calling through all my leads. So if you actually if you have enough activity, if you have enough leads, you book enough appointments, you sit with enough people, and you make enough sales, oh my gosh, I made $150,000. Like every single person on this call should make $150,000, but we don't because we don't put forth enough activity. We don't actually have enough leads. We don't actually dial or door knock or text or whatever you want to do enough or Zoom enough. But we expect to make $3,000 a week, right? Like Ryan can't sell it for you. If there was anybody on the call that should sell it over me or Roger or Joe or anybody else, dude, it should be Ryan, by the way, okay? Because that cat's impressive. He should be out door knocking instead of me today. I can promise you that. Way better than me at selling insurance. What I can tell you is he wouldn't expect to make $150,000 and dial like he wants to make $34,000. And if you equate, and don't shoot the messenger tonight when you hear this, okay? Because I'm getting a little excited, a little intense, whatever.
Hey, most of the people, Cody, get it from me. So we got to love hate, right? We can have tough love.
All right, cool. Okay, so Justin's still with me. Okay, good. So if you look at your year in 2021, did you put forth the activity to make you a future millionaire? Did you put forth the activity to make you a consistent 6-figure earner? Or can you blame Ryan or the leads or the carriers or COVID or whatever else we can come up with, right? Or can we really just blame ourselves and the amount of activity we put in? Now, if you're like, dude, I don't want to make calls, then you got to door knock a lot. I don't want to door knock or make calls. Well, you better text a whole heck of a lot, right? Like you've got to figure out the activity that produces the results. And if you don't want to text, you don't want to email, you don't want to door knock, you don't want to make calls, and you don't want to Zoom, then you either better find another sales career, actually a different career that doesn't involve sales, or you got to recruit a lot of people and never be able to actually teach them how to do it because you couldn't do it yourself. Right? And I still love you. Okay. Either way.
Cody, that was awesome, man. We were talking about targets, and I don't know, I'm sure you realize this. I'm sure someone's told you this, but you're naturally gifted at breaking that down, right? We were talking about a target, and the next thing you know, you went into appointments, you went into leads, you pulled out your calculator, figured out how many people you need to sit with, how many leads you have to have. And then the difference, man, between you and most people is that you actually did that activity. You said one line in there that I love. You said you want to make 150 grand, but you only did $34,000 worth of activity. And I think that's where that 92% of agents lie, right? Whether or not you're doing individual production, that could be true. Whether or not you're a builder, not talking to new prospects, new, recruits, new agents. Same thing with that.
If you love this video, you know I got another one that you're going to love. I got a video just to your right here. Click on that. It's going to be amazing. You're going to love it. And I'll see you in there.
That's when we made the jump. I walked away from my $5 million book and all the bonuses, and people thought I was crazy. I was probably one of the first people in town to leave captive agency.